Sacred Siren Circle, a sacred space for soul-led women ready to reclaim their voice, remember their power, and rise in sisterhood. I am your host, Marni Beninger, mama, soulpreneur, rebirth alchemist, Ayurvedic guide, and sacred space holder for women who are done living in silence. Each week, we gather in this circle to share stories, tools, and transmissions that awaken your feminine fire and help you live, lead, and love in alignment. So take a breath, drop in, and let your sacred siren rise. Hello, 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 my beautiful sacred siren goddesses. Welcome back to another Sacred Siren Circle. I am lighting our candle as I speak and bringing in grounding energy to open up this circle as well. So feel free to light your candle, take a breath, land here. Today, I am going to talk about the womb as a portal to wealth. So, this download just came through. I had this circle that I was doing for free this morning, and I had this whole plan on it being about the womb and the voice, and it still is about that, or it still was about that. But there's this other piece that came through in meditation, and had been kind of the last few days had just been niggling me and like kept coming back up into my mind. And I was like, yeah, I'll figure out where I can fit that into my schedule and run a class on that, or a circle on that, or do a podcast on that, or something like that. And then this morning during my meditation, it was like, no, now, like, do this now. This is what you have to do now. And I had to sit with it for a sec and be like, but I have like 15 minutes to reform this circle. And I was supposed to be opening up this new 6-week journey that I would be offering and all of these things. And I had to come back to, no, right. This is what my womb is saying. This is what my intuition is saying. You need to put this out into the world now. And let it all go. It'll just flow and it'll all come through and it'll be perfect. And that is being in the full sacred siren. That is being in the feminine flow and just allowing things to change and adapt as you go. And anyone who knows me knows I like to have things like very planned out. I'm the one who has, my schedule color coded and in my calendar and have things booked out weeks in advance and have this whole plan. But that hasn't served me. But that is the masculine way of doing things. That is that very structured way of doing things. And there's nothing wrong with that. We need some of that. We need some of those containers. We need to know when we're launching things. We need to know when that is. But how do you allow in the magic and allow in the flow and allow the downloads? So I'm on the second day. So it is April 22nd. I'm on the second day of my Dr. Cabral detox as well. So I'm doing the 21-day detox with the Dr. Cabral. And so I'm on my second day. And I remember this from the very first time I did it too, that the first 2 days of each of the 3 weeks is a kind of a fasting days, but they're with his shake. So you get to have 1 scoop of this supplement powder 4 times a day, and has these pills you take twice a day that are really helping your liver detox. And so with that comes this clarity, because your system starts to unclog and all these channels start to just like open up. And I do an Ayurvedic cleanse as well. And I offer both to my goddesses that I work with as well. And so I forgot how potent it can be and how by opening these channels. So it's funny because we're doing this like structured, very masculine system, because it's like these set times and these set pills and these set, right? And so we're doing this but it's holding the container. It's this masculine holding, and it's allowing then the feminine to just flow. It's allowing the feminine just to come out. It's allowing the channels to open up. It's because your system is not bogged down by all these different things, like trying to process the food that you've eaten and all these emotions and all these kind of things. All these other things open up and allow. And so with this, I usually do one in the spring and I do one in the fall. And I usually do a big house cleanup through too. And we are doing a big house reshuffle in these next 3 weeks as well, getting rid of a lot of things, doing a garage sale, doing like a moving sale. We're not moving, but I'm calling it a moving sale because we have a ton of furniture we're selling off from when my boys' father moved out. And so all of these things are happening. And it clears by having a energetically clear space. So in your house, in your workspace, that being energetically cleared as well. So not having clutter and all of these things around. And I really accumulated the clutter in the last like year, 6 months for sure. And allowing your body to be uncluttered allows your mind to be uncluttered, allows the channel to be uncluttered up to the divine, allows the divine feminine to flow. So anyways, okay, coming back to the womb telling me that I needed to do this. I need to put out this wealth womb worthiness program. I need to change my circle that was like launching in 15 minutes into being more about wealth and worthiness than about your voice. And your voice comes in as part of that. So it's not like that got left behind or anything. And then I was going to just put it right into an offer, and then came through another download while I was in circle that was like, nope, you need to do a 5-day activation on this wealth womb worthiness, and it will lead into an 8-week program. And so I was like, oh, okay, I'm just going to go with the feminine. I'm going to try this. I am going to fully, I usually go into my intuition. I go into my card reading. I go into my flow of like making sure I am in the feminine. But this is the first time where I have stepped out of the matrix, stepped out of this like controlled system and just been like, I'm going to create what I'm being told to create. And because I'd had a couple conversations about this over the weekend, and people wanting this work, but to tie it very much into the wealth and the worthiness piece, and that needs to be my central theme of what I was offering next, became this like powerful portal that I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to follow this down the Alice in the Wonderland rabbit hole. I'm going to see where this leads. And so I really wanted to talk into today. So that's how really being in your feminine flow can look. It can feel a little disorienting and it can feel a little scattered, because sometimes things just come through that you have to do now. So this podcast is the second one of this week as well. So normally I just release one on Monday, and I decided I needed to do this podcast so that people who wanted to join the 5-day circle could, the 5-day circle, the 5-day journey could do that as well. So it's a free 5-day journey next week that'll really take us deep into our wombs, into our wealth, into our abundance, into our worthiness, and really tapping into that like sensuality and sexuality, and really like, how can this womb be this portal into our wealth and abundance and these lives that we truly want to be living. And so I'm going to just touch on it a little bit today, but really about like, when we reconnect with the womb, we're really deeply connecting with our hell yes and our hell no's. So our sacred boundaries, our sacred yeses and our sacred no's. It's really deeply connecting with our power and our pleasure. We're really deeply connecting with our boundaries and our beliefs. And by connecting into our womb, we're connecting into our Ashe energy, our life force energy, our Sankalpa, our our purpose for being here and in the world. Right? And when your womb and your heart and your voice are all aligned, and when they're deeply in this feminine flow, it is so beautiful because you start to call in instead of chasing. So you call in opportunities instead of chasing opportunities. You call in people that you're meant to instead of chasing people. You call in the abundance that you're wanting instead of chasing. So we attract instead of chase. We magnetize, not manage, right? So we magnetize, not manage. how does that look like? Oh my gosh, if we're magnetizing anything, think about a magnet. Just draws things into itself, right? That are the right polar, using the wrong, but the plus and the minus, right? Like that are polarly magnetic to them. So it's not managing all the things that are like on your plate. It's just like magnetizing all these things that you're like, oh yeah, I want that. I want that. I want that. I'm going to go after that. I'm going to do that one. And you have your pick, and you get to, it's just like this smorgasbord of opportunities and things that you are magnetizing in, and you begin to attract that wealth. So not as a way to prove you're enough, but because you already are. So the wealth just follows you. And this is that beautiful alchemy of wealth and womb and worthiness. And so it's really feeling like rooted into your truth, being very deeply open to receiving, because that is another big part, is that with our womb, although it creates and it puts out all this beautiful stuff. So we birth babies out of there. This is where we birth our businesses out of. This is where we birth all these beautiful things. Birthing the podcast, we birth it through our womb, right? So our womb, and I want to be really clear here, and if you've been on any call with me, you know that I say your womb is the same whether you have a physical womb yet, whether you still have a physical womb or not. It is the womb space. The energetics are the same. And so I really want to tie into as well this like worthiness, this worthiness factor. So being worthy is the new wealth strategy, right? So really like I was just trying to think of how I want to say this, but if you hustle, your hustle would have made you rich. And it does. Some people still hustle, do a million things, work the 80 hours a week, and are wealthy in terms of money, right? So, but usually their health is sacrificed, or their purpose is sacrificed, or their like love is sacrificed, or their joy is sacrificed. Usually, if you're hustling to become the millionaire, I've only seen it be where it's not the abundance of all the areas of the life of life, right? You're not rich in every area of your life when you're hustling, when you're proving you're worthy, when it's not coming from your womb and your worthiness piece. That is in this hustle performance space. And I talked about this on the Monday episode, as I talked all about like performing to become worthy. So it's funny that this piece came in right after this, but not funny. The divine was like, you need to also speak about the worthiness. You need to talk about the womb and it being our worthiness. And so it's really talking about like boundaries and how that is proving to us our worthiness. That is helping us set that worthiness factor, that helps us draw in the opportunities that we want by creating our boundaries. It is about our intuition. It is about being so deeply aligned that we know when it is a hell yes and a hell no. When we are so in tuned with our intuition that we are like, this is I need to get this out there. This is a beautiful piece that I need to be bringing forward. I can say yes to this opportunity. I can say yes to all of this. It is about our voice being so authentically us that we are speaking, whether it is shaking, whether we are scared, whether we have fear coming through. It is our voice just coming through because it needs to. And this is the worthiness pieces, right? And I want to come back to that. Our womb is helping us come back into the part of you that is home. It is that feeling of like being so deeply held and safe and being seen and supported, but that starts in our womb, in ourselves. And I want to say that you have always been worthy, even when you were being silenced, even when you were abandoned, even when you were performing to belong, even when you were bankrupt, even when your partner was having an affair on you, even when you lost that business that you thought was your dream, even when you had a miscarriage, even when you didn't get the job that you wanted so badly. You have always been worthy, all of those is worthiness. And it is not a manifestation. It is not a mindset. It is an embodiment. So the positive manifestations, or the affirmations, the manifestation, all of that is pieces of it. These are tools. But if you are not alive in your womb space, if you as a full-bodied woman is not deeply tied and activated and is listening to your womb and saying hello to her and loving it up with her, and you are not deeply embodying your worthiness, you are not going to attract all the abundance in the world that you're wanting. You are not going to attract all of this love and joy and happiness and health and wealth into your life. And this was the piece that was missing for me, is that until I healed my relationship with my womb, until I started to trust my womb, all of this, until I listened to my voice, until I listened to my intuition, all of this wasn't coming through. All of this wasn't, I wasn't allowing this portal to be open, right? And so we sit with because our womb is holding 7 generations back, 7 generations forward, it is holding all of those generations of not enough. It is allowing society and our cultures to tell us the stories that we are not enough unless we are hustling and we are performing, and unless we are, doing all of these pieces. And it is allowing our culture to tell us that our power is dangerous because our power is in our womb. It is in our sensuality. It is in our sexuality. It is in us being turned on by life. It is by us creating everything we want to create in life. And so that is our womb carrying those, it's being that silent carrier of our unworthiness, right? It's the wound, the witch wound, saying that, that we were burned at the stake because we let our magic and our medicine out into the world, and that we have been tamped down for so long that we believe we are unworthy of everything we dream of. We are unworthy of our sankalpa. We are unworthy of this abundance that is our birthright. We are unworthy of all these pieces. It is this emotional imprint of being, of betrayal, of dismissal, of shame. It is like us just sitting in all of this, and our ability to receive, which is tied directly into our ability of our abundance, is directly tied to how safe we feel and how alive we feel in our womb. And so I want us to really sit with that and really know, I am worthy. I am worthy of everything I've ever wanted. I am worthy of everything I want. And what does that look like for you? It does not have to be the woman that wants the homestead and that she feels worthy enough to have that and have the time and the space to make everything from scratch and to can and to create that. She is worthy of that. The woman that wants a multi-billion-dollar business and that she wants to create movements in the world and she wants to change the world, she is worthy of that. The woman that just wants a small, simple life where she lives in a simple home, and that she just spends all her time with her children and she has more than enough to provide the life she wants for her children in that way, that woman, she is worthy. You are worthy in every vision that you see of yourself. You are worthy today exactly as you are. You do not need to change a single thing about yourself to be worthy of everything you have ever dreamed of, to have all the wealth and all the health and all the love and all the joy and all the abundance that you could possibly want. It is your womb. It is your womb drawing in the wealth. It is your womb as your worthiness. It is healing that. And so, depending on when you are listening to this, but as of April 22nd, next Monday, April 28th, we are going on a womb journey of wealth and worthiness and how to increase all of that in your life and how to open those portals so it is all flowing into you so beautifully. That is leading into an 8-week deep dive journey where we will heal. We will not heal because you are already healed. We will remember all that we need to remember about our wealth imprint, our blueprint of our womb, our worthiness. We will bring back every piece of our voice. And so it is going to be a beautiful 8-week journey. It is starting on May 6th. It is going to be on Tuesdays. And so definitely look for that. All of that is in the show notes. So be sure you look for that. Sign up. I would so be honored to have you be part of that. It is going to be a small container that I'm only working with 6 women max that are coming into that container and want to grow their wealth to, 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures, that they are taking their worthiness to the next journey, that they are calling in the love of their life, that they are calling in the life of their life, their life of their dreams, that they're making their Sankalpa come true. So be sure that you go and check that out. And if you've missed the opportunity and you're hearing this afterwards, don't worry. I'm sure I will have something else come through. I can work with you one-on-one as well. So be sure to just reach out to me because this work is important and needed in the world. And the more wealth we as women that are on this beautiful journey of opening up and reclaiming our power and reclaiming our truth have, the more we can change the world to be what we need it to be so beautiful and uplifting and be the world we want for our children. So please come join me and look for that 5-day free opportunity, as well as the 8-week deep dive. It's going to be very simply called Wealth, Womb, and Worthiness. So that's it. Look for that. And let's pull from Faces of Oshun. Let's pull from Goddess Abiola Abrams, because Oshun, that's her wheelhouse. That's everything she's about, is self-worth and self-love and worthiness and abundance and beauty and all of that. So she is going to be who I am channeling and bringing in. I don't want to say channeling, that's not quite the right word, but who I'm using as a guide to bring in this beautiful 8-week program. And then I'm so excited for that, and the 5-week free journey next week as well. So let's see what beautiful Oshun has to say for us today on this beautiful journey that we are on with wealth, our womb, and our worthiness. So it's going to be Oshun of Boundaries coming up today. And that is about cord cutting, energetic balance, and liberation. So Oshun of Boundaries, which I love because it's one of the things we will be focusing on, is our sacred boundaries and how to say no in the most loving, compassionate way, but to hold our boundaries as love for ourselves. So I so look forward to having you on this journey with me, and drop me a note, a message, and let me know if this is calling to you. If you're going to join us on the 5-day, make sure you sign up. It's free. Replays are going to be available. So be sure to sign up. And I would love, love, love to have you on this journey with me. And I look forward to seeing you soon. And remember, we may have started as a silent she, but it is not our ending. So rise, subscribe, rise, and I look forward to seeing you soon. So much love to you all. See you soon.